believes I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Hello, good morning. How is everyone? I hope you are well. Man, it's a beautiful day in my neck of the woods. A little chilly, but and there are clouds in the sky, but there's also a lot of blue. And I think a lot of people are getting in their last minute outdoor chores, their last minute mowing and weed eating, and just kind of getting in their outdoor activities, getting in their last minute like camping and stuff. Because it's going to be, well, depending on where you are in the world. If you are in Oregon, it will be, it's fall. Fall is upon us, and we are all starting to kind of hunker down a bit. I know, though, that many areas of the world, it's been hot. It's been like in the hundreds in Texas. So the weather is crazy, but here it's been gorgeous, and I'm on the fence. I can't decide if I'm ready for fall or if I would like some more summer. I like them both equally. I just feel like I didn't really get to enjoy summer as much as I wanted to. I had a lot of drama and a lot of busy work and just working extra hours and just having a lot of stuff going on where I didn't feel like I fully got to enjoy summer. So I'm a little, now that, there's definitely a lot more drama and definitely a lot more going on, and I'm not any less busy than I was, but I'm in a different state of mind. And of course, your state of mind makes all the difference on how you handle life and how you handle things. Because obviously, if you don't have a good state of mind, you're going to go into things negatively, and you're going to be all bah humbug about it, and you're not going to embrace it, and you're going to find the cons, the negative. And if you're in a good state of mind, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to embrace things. You're going to look at the positive and seize the day and seize the season and all of that. So, today I can say I am feeling okay. I'm feeling good. I know I'm all seize the day. And then I'm like, today I'm feeling okay. It's like, wah, wah. That was kind of anticlimactic. I felt like I should have said, like, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. But I got to tell you, feeling okay is a heck of a lot better than I have been feeling. So believe it or not, this is progress. And I am going to focus on progress, not the amount of progress, just the fact that I've made progress. I'm not going backwards. So we're going to focus on that, because as long as you're moving forward, hey, it's good. But I am feeling okay and not fantastic and not amazing, because I do have a lot of things going on. People in my life are going through a lot, which, because, if they're my family, of course, I'm going to worry about them. I'm going to take on their worries, and I know I shouldn't, because they aren't my worries, and I can't control someone else and all of that. And I get it. And I get that I'm not supposed to be focused on other people's worries. But when they're your family, that's a little difficult. When they're your children, even if they are adult children, as a parent, you're going to worry if your kids are worried. You're going to feel bad if your kids are going through something. That's just, you want to help. And if you feel helpless or you feel like it's not your place, it just adds a lot. And I don't know if it's a mom thing. I don't know if it's a dad thing. I don't know if it's a parent thing. I'm sure obviously everybody worries about their kids, obviously, no matter if you're a mom or a dad. I don't mean to imply that if you're a mom or a dad, that one worries more than the other. I just mean I kind of feel like moms tend to take on more guilt if they feel that their children aren't doing well, or they want to help out more. They want to get involved more than they should. They want to rescue them, you know. And I'm not saying that means that dads don't care. I think that dads are probably just, it's better that, you know, every counselor will tell you, you need to figure out your own problems. You need to figure out your own solutions. You can't always have someone bailing you out. I mean, look at the Democrats. They always have someone bailing them out, and look how the economy is. It's crap. You know, you have to let people, accountability, consequences, you have to let people fall so that they can learn from their mistakes, so they can learn what not to do. You know, I get all of that. So I think dads just tend to follow that more. Again, I'm not speaking on behalf of all parents, all dads, all moms. I'm just saying as a whole, it seems from what I have observed that that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing, by the way, that dads maybe do that I like. I think dads kind of are like, no, they need to figure it out. They need to work it out, you know? But it's hard. And I'm not going to air my family's business. But it's just when you see things going on and you want to fix it, but it's not your place. That's hard. I feel like Monster-in-Law sometimes, you know, that movie with Jennifer Lopez, who I can't stand, and she's the worst actor on earth. And with Jane Fonda, who I think she's a great actress. Her as a person, not a fan of at all, but I do like her movies and her shows. But anyway, that movie Monster-in-Law, where she's this overbearing mother with her son. Sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I feel like Monster-in-Law, and I just feel like I'm that overbearing mom. But they're all I have left. I do not have anybody left. I have my grandson and my two sons. That is quite literally all I have left in my family. The rest of my family has passed away. And they passed away many moons ago, long, long, long time ago. Well, my mom just passed away 2 years ago, but everybody else has passed away long time ago. So it used to just be my mom and my two sons. And unfortunately, my mom died before my grandson was born, her great grandson. She unfortunately died before he was born. She did know that he was going to be born. She knew that she was going to be a great grandma, but unfortunately, sadly, because of Kamala Harris, because of Biden, because of the complete extreme left policies, because of our governor at that time, the governor at that time, Kate Brown, they killed my mom along with many people with COVID and Fauci. And they gave, and the media, a bunch of murderers because they gave misinformation. They spread misinformation. They spread fake news. They gave, they let the people know only what they felt like, and they kept to themselves important information. And they tried to force vaccinations. They tried, you know, the My Body, My Choice group that are all about my body, my choice. They are the ones that were trying to force people to inject themselves with, in my belief, is, well, poison to some. I think, again, I'm not against the vaccination. If somebody wants to get the vaccination, they should absolutely get vaccinated for whatever they want to get vaccinated for. I'm not against people vaccinating themselves. I am against people forcing me to vaccinate myself, though. And so we'll get into that later in the podcast. But at any rate, my mom, unfortunately, did not get to see her great grandson. So all I had at that time was my mom and my two sons. Now I have my two sons and my grandson. That is it. That's all she wrote. So I'm very protective. I am probably pretty clingy. Yes, I make a lot of decisions based on my family. And sometimes it's to my own detriment, as in I don't want to live in Oregon. I think Oregon's beautiful, by the way. I think it is an amazing state. And I just, unfortunately, our government ruins it. And so I wanted to leave because of our government. Again, I'd stay here if it weren't crazy expensive and we didn't have absolute lunatics running the show. But I've been wanting to travel and not even be in one state. I've just been wanting to travel for a long time. But I don't because I want to be around my family. Now, I'm not blaming my family. I'm not saying my family has held me back. They haven't asked me to stay. I've made the choice to stay because I want to, because I love them and I want to be around them. But it's hard because right now I tend to make a lot of decisions because I want to help my family and I want to help them in ways that probably aren't my place. Again, it's probably interjecting myself. So I struggle with that. But I don't know. There's just a lot of sadness in the world right now. And so when I say that I'm okay, again, I think that's a big step up because I've been so bummed out and so overwhelmed by the negativity that's been going on, the hate and the violence that's been going on, the death that's been going on. Everybody I know seems to be getting divorced or separating or breaking up. A lot of dogs that my customers that I've known for almost 7 years now, dogs that I've been close with for a long time, are passing away. It just seems like every time I turn around, somebody is dying. A customer of ours is dying. A friend is dying. A dog is dying. Or there's a hurricane that is taking out people. There are shootings, attempted assassinations. There's just so much going on in the world that is just it's hard to be positive. We are on the brink of possibly having a major dictator as the president. And if Kamala wins, I am scared to death there's going to be a civil war. I'm scared to death there's going to be a nuclear war. You do not know because, again, keep in mind, as if people don't already know this, but it seems like a lot of the left is not aware of this. They're oblivious that she is currently vice president. She's been vice president for 4 years and has said that she backs up Biden's policies and she has no regrets, or as they say on We Are the Millers, no regrets, not even one letter. No regrets. But she has no regrets. She backs up Biden's policies. So it's crazy town to me that she could possibly be, in charge of that red button. She's a lunatic and she has a lot of people with money in her pocket. She must be doing a lot of favors, because she's got a lot of people in her pocket. But it scares me because, again, she's going to be in charge of nuclear weapons and she looks weak. And the rest of the world sees her face plastered all over our country. And she's supposed to be the face. So she's the face of America. And there is not a country out there that looks at that face, that looks at Kamala Harris and says, wow, there's someone that you don't want to mess with. There's someone that is strong and confident and intelligent. There's a face that oozes confidence, that is articulate, that is strong. There is a face that is loyal and has America's back, that will stand up and make a decision, that can make a split-second decision. That's the face of a person that can make choices in an instant. Nobody sees that. There's not a person that looks at Kamala and sees confidence and intelligence and that says, wow, there's a really well-spoken human being. There's a very strong woman. No, they look and they're like, it's the first female president. They look at gender. They look at her and they say, there's someone that's black or there's someone that's Indian, they look at race. That's all they think about when they think of, and they think of a vibe because she's, the cool chick that wants to kick back some beer with Stephen Colbert. Look, I'm cool. Look at me being cool. I'm the cool kids. I'm part of the cool kids Mean Girls Club. Man, I mean, Lindsay Lohan she would have played like a good Lindsay Lohan. Actually, no, that's giving her credit because Lindsay Lohan actually is a good person who gets kind of sucked in. Kamala Harris was never a good person to begin with. She's just always been a mean girl. But you don't sit back and have beer while there are people still suffering and in need of support from a hurricane, from 2 hurricanes, from tornadoes. I know I keep saying this, but it's incredibly disrespectful for her to be sitting there having a good time while people in her own country are suffering, and she doesn't give a fuck. She could give 2 fucks about what is going on in any other realm other than her vision. She's like, what's straight in front of her? She has tunnel vision, and that is power. All she has on her mind is power. She is hungry and greedy. She's power hungry, and she's just thinking on who she can do the next favor for to climb over everybody else. She's going to climb over everybody in Florida. She's going to climb everybody in North Carolina. She's going to climb all over everybody in Georgia. Now she's saying that the black people she's going to basically support their weed habit. She wants to smoke a doobie with them because in her eyes, they all smoke pot. And they all want more money for pot, and they all want to be able to get away with smoking pot and not go to jail. So she just thinks that if you're black, you care about weed and you care about jail time. So she's like kicking a cold one back with Steve Colbert while sitting here telling the black people that she's going to get 100 billion or 50 million, some crap number that doesn't make any sense, for them for like housing and loans and shit. And they don't have to pay it back. And that we're also going to give you, make sure that you don't get penalized if you have weed. What the hell? Just like Biden's like, you ain't black if you're not voting for me. And I love how Hillary Clinton and Kamala like to do the whole pretend that they are an actress, and they all start acting and they start using an accent. Wherever they are, they start pretending like they're from that city, from that from that state, and they start having an accent. And neither of them feel that's remotely insulting. It's insane to me. So I posted a video on YouTube asking anybody that was still voting for Kamala Harris, why? And I said, I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking you. I'm genuinely just wanting to know what it is about Kamala Harris that makes you feel she's going to run this country well, because she's had 4 years to do it. She hasn't. She's gone back and forth on her policies. So without mentioning Trump, this is the important part. I was like, please do not mention Donald Trump, because if I say I love Chevy trucks, love them. And if someone says, well, why do you love Chevy so much? What is it about Chevy trucks that you like? What keeps you buying them? Why do you keep buying Chevy trucks? And I'm like, well, because I hate Ford. Okay, cool. So I understand that you hate Ford, but what is it about a Chevy truck that makes you continue to purchase them? Because I absolutely can't stand Ford. Ford fucking sucks. Okay, great. I hear you. You feel Ford sucks. But why is Chevy great? Why doesn't Chevy suck? Why does Ford suck but not Chevy? Tell me why Chevy is amazing. What are the features? What are the mechanical things that you like about Chevy? Well, I fucking hate Ford. See what I'm saying? Like, I can't ask you why you like Harris without Democrats constantly saying, because I hate Trump, because I hate Trump. Great. I hear you. I heard what you're saying. You don't like Trump. You're not voting for Trump. Cool. Why are you voting for Kamala Harris? So I put that out there. I put a video out there asking that. And instead of getting responses about why they are voting for Kamala Harris, I got responses like, your hair's orange and looks like crap. Your teeth are yellow. Why do you look like you're on drugs? So again, instead of answering the question because they don't have the brain cells, the education, or the words to properly speak on their own behalf, clearly they need like a teleprompter. They have to resort to name calling. And that's what libs do. Liberals, when asked a direct question, they somehow feel attacked. If I say, why do you like Oreo cookies? Why Oreo cookies? That offends me. I feel triggered. I feel harassed. You're not being harassed. I'm asking you a fucking question. You're eating Oreo cookies. I want to know why you like them. If you're Catholic, what is it about being a Catholic that you're attracted to? What are their beliefs that you agree with? I'm not attacking you by asking this. You've chosen to be. Now, I'm not saying you have to have a reason for every single thing. Maybe you're wearing a red shirt because you didn't have anything else to put on and you're just wearing a red shirt and there wasn't a lot of thought put into it. Great. Maybe you're eating an Oreo cookie because it says the same thing. You like Oreo cookies. You think they taste good, but you don't really have like any other reason other than you're like, all right, I just think they taste good. Great. You don't have to have some deep, long explanation as to why you like certain things. But when it comes to the president of the United States, when it comes to who's going to be leading our country and who is in charge of weapons and in charge of the border and in charge of the economy, I feel like you should have a better answer other than, I hate Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you should actually be able to give me at least one reason, at least one, that says that you can tell me why it is you're voting for Kamala Harris. No, instead it's attacking my looks, attacking me and putting me down. And that is exactly what liberals do. When you don't have an education, when you are ignorant, when you are so filled with hate, it's hard to articulate yourself. I get that. This is the party that claims that they are non-judgmental and peaceful and accepting and all of this. And it's infuriating. It is so infuriating to see the hypocrisy over and over and over. It has been nothing but hypocrisy for the last 4 years with Biden. It's been nothing but hypocrisy when Trump was president and the Democrats were going on and on about how Trump's not supposed to be president. They would not accept that Trump won. And now they're asking us, now, if Kamala Harris wins, are you guys going to play nice? Are you guys going to shake hands and say congratulations and play nice and not throw a tantrum? This coming from the party that rioted and burned down buildings, broke windows, hurt people, blockaded people with their bodies and with cars, stole things, tried to say that there was Russian collusion, ended up launching fucking 8 years of an investigation on Trump and his family because they simply could not accept that Hillary Clinton lost. Could not accept it. They literally went out on YouTube screaming at the top of their lungs. Ah! Remember that one chick? Ah! And they're sitting here going, now, are you guys going to be able to handle it if Harris wins? Do you remember when they also flipped the fuck out when Gore didn't win? This is a history that Democrats have. Now, when Biden won, there were a lot of people that were pretty upset. There were a lot of people that definitely thought that there was some fraud going on, that it was rigged, because there was evidence to prove that. But Nobody went out freaking out and destroying buildings and burning down buildings and killing people and blockading people from getting into their own school or going to work. That never happened. So it's interesting to me, again, the hypocrisy that goes on, and these young kids are just so indoctrinated and groomed by these so-called educational these teachers. What is it that you're teaching? Because apparently in Oregon, you don't have to know how to read. You don't have to know math. You don't have to know how to speak English. So if you're not teaching reading, writing, or arithmetic, what are you doing? And if you are rewriting history and you're changing history to whatever the hell you feel suits kids from crying and not throwing a fit, so you're not even teaching correct history, you're not teaching civics. So what is it that you are teaching our kids? What exactly are kids learning? Because everyone seems to be getting it seems people are ignorant. It seems that people are uneducated. It seems that people are being fed a bunch of malarkey. People are just writing whatever they want and calling it history. History sometimes sucks. History sometimes makes people look bad. Sometimes it's like, oh, we did that. Yep, we did that. There's a lot of shit that people have done, not just in America, all over the world. There are some barbaric, fucked up, messed up, not right things that has happened in the world by people that are black, white, Asian, Indian, all races, all colors, male or female, Republican, Democrat, Mormon, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Christian, whatever. Everybody from every single country, all walks of life, have fucked up and really messed things up before. It's just what we do because we're humans and we're idiots. We have emotions. We have a heart. We have a brain. We have sex organs. We have hormones, and all of those things battle each other. Our hormones and our brain and our heart are all pulling in different directions, and it's hard. And sometimes we make really stupid, bad, poor choices. And sometimes there's people out there that are literally born sociopaths and they turn out to be murderers. There are people out there who have done some terrible things and it was a mistake and it was an accident. There are people out there who were kids and drank and drove and accidentally killed one of their friends because they made a really, really terrible, terrible decision to drink and drive. There are a lot of regrets that people have and a lot of mistakes that people have made. And we walk around acting like we're so above it all, like we're so righteous. We go around judging every single thing, myself included. I do it too. I'm not taking myself out of the equation. I've been known to judge. Obviously, listen to my podcast. If you listen to my podcast, I do a real good job at being judgmental sometimes. I do a real good job at saying the wrong thing, at messing up. But the difference is I admit it. I try to learn from it, and I try to not make the same mistakes. I try to learn from my mistakes, which again, from a parent's perspective, it's very hard to allow your kids to make mistakes, but it's important. They have to, because otherwise you wind up with kids like we have today, spoiled, rotten, uneducated brats walking around with their heads crammed really far up their own asses, seeing nothing else but their own ass, completely oblivious to anything else going on around them. They live in their own little narcissistic world. And again, if you're a teenager and you're young, part of it's not your fault. You've got hormones and you've got all kinds of shit. Like I said, your brain's going crazy. Your hormones are going crazy. Sometimes you're not going to make good decisions. That's why we're not supposed to vote or get a tattoo or drink before certain ages or drive before a certain age, because your body is just a shit show and you make stupid choices. That's why it shouldn't be okay for minors to be making life-altering choices about their bodies. They should not be allowed to make life-altering choices about their body when scientifically we all know it's a shit show in there. Our hormones are going bananas when we're in our teens and 20s. They're developing, they're trying to figure stuff out. That's why you probably shouldn't be president at like 20 years old. You need some more time to gather facts, to gather intel, to gather information, to learn, to grow, to learn from your mistakes, to fall, to make some mistakes and learn from those mistakes. But one of them shouldn't be, oh, I cut off my penis. Oops, that was a bad mistake. That should be the parents' choice, because the parents have had time to allow their bodies to have their hormones catch up, and they have had time to be on this earth, to grow and learn and gather information, because they are adults. They are not minors. They are your parents. So you allow them to make those choices because you are a moron when you are young. Again, not all kids. I realize there's really good kids out there. There are very good kids out there that, they don't make a lot of mistakes. If they do, they're very minor and they're not a big deal. And that's great. I'm just saying that there's a reason that you're not supposed to get a tattoo. And there's a reason that you're supposed to wait to vote and drink and drive and all of that. So you definitely shouldn't be making decisions like chopping off your breasts or chopping off your wiener and stuff. And you definitely shouldn't be voting if you are unaware of what is actually going on in the world. If you have your head up your butt and you aren't looking around and you aren't gathering information and seeing all points of view, seeing all aspects, gathering your own information, doing your own research from all angles, then you shouldn't be making any kind of decisions. You shouldn't be voting. Because again, you shouldn't be voting on gender or race or who's cool or who's kicking back a beer and who's talking about making pot legal. You need to pick somebody on, are other leaders of other countries going to respect our leader enough to not mess with us? Do they fear that leader enough and know that that leader means what he or she says to be like, hey, I know if I mess with America, their president will make sure we have consequences. Their president will hold us accountable. Is that what Kamala Harris oozes to anybody? Do you think that Putin looks at Kamala with respect and is going to listen to anything that comes out of her mouth and believe things that come out of her mouth? Do you think Kim Jong-un, or do you think that anybody is going to look at her and believe anything that comes out of her mouth if she tries to say, don't? I love how her and Biden, that's what they always say. So what if Putin says he's going to come at you? What would you say to them, Biden? What would you say to them, Harris? Looks at the camera. Don't. Like whispering it. Oh, yeah, that's real scary. That's really scary. You can barely even get out the word don't. You barely have the breath. You're almost dead. You're half dead. You've got like both feet in the grave. You can barely even say the word don't. You're barely getting out of your mouth. And you think that's going to be scary. And then Kamala, don't, in her cackly voice that no one's scared of. She's so drunk all the time and on Xanax, you can push her over. She's so souped up on alcohol and Xanax that she doesn't know if she's coming or going. No one's scared of that. That's ridiculous. We have to pick people that we know have America's back and that are going to stay strong and stand up to America, and that other countries know that we mean business. We mean business. Do not mess with America or else. Right now, people are just laughing at us. Kamala is going to be having a party at the White House all the time with Taylor Swift and Beyonce and having a rave and kicking back beers and, smoking a joint. Biden, is in there with Hunter smoking crack and doing cocaine. This has become a frat house. This is not a freaking frat house. This is the United States of America. This is the White House, not the frat house. This is the White House, not the sorority, not a sorority. We don't need to be having, pillow fights and be having dance clubs and stuff and giggling with Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Katy Perry and Pink. And again, they are overgrown court gestures. Celebrities are nothing but overgrown court gestures paid to entertain us. Their jobs are literally useless. Of course, we need endorphins. We need to be able to laugh and have a good time so that we're not depressed. So the entertainment, music is definitely good for the soul. Watching funny movies or watching movies, definitely good for your mental health. But I'm just saying they're not doctors, they're not paramedics, they're not policemen, they're not firemen. We can live without them is my point. And yet we treat them, we idolize them, we treat them as if they are gods. And we seem to forget that they are normal people that are treating us like we are children, treating us like we don't have a brain, treating us like we can't make our own decisions. And for somebody to go by, again, like I talked about in my last podcast, we used to teach our kids, if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you? Well, now we're teaching our kids, well, Katy Perry and Pink and Taylor Swift and Beyonce said, well, who the fuck are they? Have you ever actually been around them? Have you actually met them? Do you know what they're actually about, what their character is? You only know what their persona is on social media. You only know what their persona is in interviews. We have no idea if that's fake or real. We have no idea what they do behind closed doors. For all we know, they're all voting for Trump. We don't know if they're voting for Trump or not. We just know what they're saying. But their actions don't usually match their words a lot of times. Again, with the whole climate change is so bad. Diesel is so bad. Okay, are you going to have an electric private jet? Kim Kardashian, are you going to have an electric private jet? Because y'all are the one, Kylie Jenner, Kardashians, Katy Perry, Pink, all of you guys, Taylor Swift, Beyonce. Do you guys have electric private jets? Do you fly around with no gas in your airplane? Do you guys have electric cars? I'm curious to know we all know you have more than one car. All of you guys that I just mentioned have more than one car. How many of them are electric? Show of hands, celebrities. Hollywood, show of hands. How many of you fly around? Politicians, Democrats, extreme lefties. How many of you, when you get on an airplane, you shouldn't be flying at all unless it's an electric plane, right? None of you should be flying anywhere. None of you should just be in horse and buggy, actually. You should be riding a horse because, as we know, electric vehicles are way worse for the environment. They go into the ground after like 10 years, 12 years, and they ooze lithium. Now you're putting lithium into the ground, not to mention how they make those batteries is terrible, not to mention the conditions in the other countries. They don't have regulations like we do. So, are you guys riding around on horses? How many electric cars do you have in your 7-car garage? Let's say you have all electric. Well, again, you're doing worse for the environment. Let's say all 7 of them use gasoline. Well, then you're a hypocrite. So which is it? You're killing the environment or you're a hypocrite. It's so infuriating. It's just infuriating, the hypocrisy. It's infuriating that we're coming upon elections and people are still like, I'm voting for Kamala because there's just this vibe. There's this cool, hip vibe I like. Oh, so it's cool. Crime is cool and hip. Rape is cool and hip. Murder is cool and hip. Fentanyl, the cartel, that's cool and hip. Murder is cool and hip. I did not know that. The economy crashing is cool and hip. Having Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton and all the tornadoes in Florida and North Carolina and Georgia and all the people affected, it's cool and hip to not give support and not help out and make it political and then talk about how DeSantis is supposedly making it political. That's cool and hip. Yeah, I don't go by that. I go by respect. I go by who I feel can actually run this country and protect this country from other countries that may want to do us harm, that may want to start World War III. I don't want World War III. I don't want a nuclear war, and I don't want a civil war. And I feel those things are going to happen if Harris is president. So again, if you have your head up your butt, you should probably do your own research. You should probably pull it out because this is important. It's very important not to vote because of race and gender or because of a vibe. It's very important for you to learn from your mistakes. Learn from what's been going on the past 4 years. Really look at what's been going on. It's really cool and hip to know what's going on and how it affects you, because it does and it will affect you. I really encourage people to do their homework. Anyway, that's been keeping me up at night. That has really been keeping me up at night, along with just a lot of changes going on. Relationships are difficult. And when you finally make a decision and even though it's hard, it's a hard one, it's a tough pill to swallow, sometimes it still feels good because you know that it's the right decision. It's liberating, actually, to be like, okay, this is a hard decision. It's tough, but I know it's the right one. So, again, learning from my mistakes, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, definition of insanity. And I feel like that's what I've been doing. I feel like I've been doing things over and over again and expecting the different results. So I do need to learn from my mistakes. I need to grow from them and move forward. So I'm doing okay because I have learned that I've made some choices that, although difficult, are the best. And I'm good with them. I'm really good with them. Are you good with your choices? If you have decided to vote for Harris, then great. I'm not against that. I just want to know, I want you to have a different reason other than you hate Trump or because she's a female or because of her race. If you're voting for Trump, same goes for you. I want you to vote for Trump, not because you just don't like Harris. That's ridiculous. Because we are all in this together. We are all in this country together. We are all in this world together. And unfortunately, when we were young, sometimes our choices didn't really affect much other than just us, and it wasn't a big deal. But right now, our choices affect the entire country, really the world, when you think about it. So I just, again, really urge everybody to do their homework and vote wisely. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if this is your first time or your 60th time, I so appreciate you. I genuinely do. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to know what I need to improve upon because, again, working on mistakes, going forward, learning what to do, what not to do. So I would love to hear from you. Ramblings of an Insomniac 49 at Gmail. And I would love to hear what you like about my podcast, what you feel I could improve upon, all of that good stuff. Thank you, everybody from different countries. Thank you, everybody from the states that are from all over. I mean, there are, like I said, there are countries and states that listen to me that I pick on all the time. And yet you're troopers and you listen to me anyway. And I love you. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Tell a friend. Listen to my YouTube channel. Check out Ramblings of an Insomniac on YouTube. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Clapper. Check me out on X. Tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. All that good stuff. But thank you so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Until next time.